Hello, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Felicia from Sweet Georgia and also the School of Sweet Georgia. If you guys have never been here before, the School of Sweet Georgia is an online fiber art school, and we are learning how to spin our own yarn, dye yarn, weave, and make all sorts of wonderful things. I think if you have not actually heard of the School of Sweet Georgia yet, this is actually our 5-year anniversary in May. Yeah, we've been doing this for 5 years now. We started in 2017, creating these courses and doing all this kind of stuff online. And so really, really excited every time May comes around every year. It's our anniversary year. Yeah, Vicky, I got a new hair color. It's my once a year hair, my hair update once a year. Yeah, 5 years. Amazing, right? So what we do is we have been making these courses for 5 years, making fiber arts courses. But then every month, at the end of the month, the last Thursday of every month, we've been doing these live streams. And it just gives me an opportunity to see you guys on the chat and to answer any questions that you guys have. I also do a lot of show and tell, showing and sharing a lot of the things that have happened inside the school community and showing what people have been making and things like that. And these live streams, this moment in time is actually only available to members. So members, you guys get an unlisted link so that you can go and participate in the live stream. And so if you're watching this after the fact and you would like to be in the chat room and connecting with everybody there and all of that kind of stuff, then you just have to go to the School of Sweet Georgia and join and become an all access member. And then you can be here with us while we do these live streams. Fantastic. And if you do need to leave early, it's not a problem. We do record these, so they are available later on if you want to come back and watch them anytime. And what we have been doing is, because we cover so much content in each of these live streams, we've been actually putting chapter markers for all of the questions and all the conversations that we've been having, so that way you can just jump to the point that you want to catch up on. Fantastic. So you know what, the thing is that the last time that we had this live office hours, we had it a week early in the previous month in April, because that last week of April we spent a whole week filming with Debbie Held, one of our spinning instructors. And so she came up from Atlanta, Georgia to Vancouver to spend a whole week with us filming 3 courses. And so it's been like lots and lots of stuff, lots of activity actually in the studio for the past couple of weeks. So we had the whole week with Debbie, which I'll show you some photos of as well. But we've also been filming with Charlotte Lee. She's our well, she does so many things, but she designs a lot of crochet patterns, she knits, she does all these kinds of things, but she has been recording a new crochet class. So this is Crochet Basics 2, and it is about things like building shapes, being able to increase, decrease, all of that kind of stuff. We have also been filming some like pre-stuff for the double weave class that I'm going to be filming next week. Yeah, next week. No, the week after. So the double weave blanket that we're making for that class, I am putting that on the loom right now. I'm just filming a little bit of B-roll as that happens. And all of that kind of stuff is going on right now. I'm going to share with you guys some of the photos from when Debbie was here. Let me see if I can go here. I'll go here and then go here. Yeah, so this is Debbie. Debbie actually came, originally, this was like 2 years ago, just before the pandemic. She was going to come here to Vancouver, and that week that we were booking her airfare, all of these things happened, and then we had to cancel the trip and all that kind of stuff. And so we ended up doing her classes on Zoom. So if you guys have been in the school, and if you've seen that, like we did a supported spindle class with Debbie, we did an e-spinner class with Debbie, we've done some blending board stuff with Debbie as well. And so she has come to Vancouver so that we could film all of those things up close again. So we redid a lot of the supported spindle content so that you could see her fingers in action, see how this all works, see supported spindles up close. And then we also did e-spinner. So she brought her e-spinner, which was the Daedalus. Is an amazing e-spinner. I can't remember the exact name of it. I think it was it's not the Sparrow, it's a Magpie. It was a bigger one, but not the super big one. But her Daedalus e-spinner was amazing. And then we spun on that e-spinner side by side with the Ashford e-spinner 3, We spun it with the Dreaming Robots Nano and Dreaming Robots EEW6. And we also happened to go and borrow one of the Hanson e-spinners, the mini spinner. So it's a Starling. Yes, that's the one. So we had a whole bunch of different e-spinners that we could sort of sit side by side and compare. And so we have a lot of footage about like what they actually sound like at both 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100% speed for all of these e-spinners. So we are going to put all of that together and share that with you guys. It was super, super fun. We also, Debbie put together a brand new course on spinning textured yarn. So being able to spin slub yarn, coils, super coils, just all sorts of things that you can do with making like yarn that is structurally sound, but has really interesting novelty texture to it. So all of that stuff is going to be edited and released over the coming months. So you can see there's Debbie there teaching with her Daedalus. We also have, we have 3 cameras set up so that we can get really, really up close and see her hands in action to do a lot of these techniques. And then there's Greta and Kathy, who are helping with all the filming and making all of this stuff come together. So really, really excited about all of that. Can't wait to share those with you guys. We've been doing a ton of filming, and so slowly the courses are starting to come out now. So I also wanted to remind you guys about the Fundamentals to Finishing class. This is the knitting class that Holly Yo has put together for us. And Holly Yo, she's a local knitwear designer in Vancouver. Her work is beautiful. The design is stunning. Her handwork is just super professional and elegant and really, really well done. And so I wanted to remind you that Module 2 has just been released. And so Module 2 is all about shaping. So like how to do different increases, how to do different decreases, fully fashioned shaping. If you don't know what that is kind of like doing the shaping, but not doing it on the very selvage edge, but doing it a few stitches in, so that way you can see a little bit of the detailing. You can see what it looks like when stitches are increased or decreased, and it adds a little bit of just a little bit of visual detail. It looks nice, to make things look nice, I guess. And then short rows for shoulder shaping. So she goes into all of those kinds of things for shaping in this module. And currently Leah is editing Module 3, which will come out next. So it is a big, massive course. So I encourage you guys to go through and check that out. Just so many techniques that you can learn to help improve your knitting. The next one I wanted to remind you guys about is like the last time we were on the live office hours, I told you that this one was coming, but now it's actually here. And so this is the one with Diana Twist. So this is the follow-up called the Color and Fiber Play 2 with Diana Twist. And so in this one, she shows you a lot of techniques for, how do you go from just blending on your blending board and doing a little bit of blending and playing and experimenting with color and all that kind of stuff. How do you expand that process and make it consistent to go up to something like 500 grams? So how do you go from 1 ounce to 1 pound? How do you make enough fiber so that way you could make an entire sweater that has a fiber blend that is all going to be like consistent and beautiful and wonderful and all sorts of things like that. So she talks about making larger amounts, spinning and plying techniques to show all of the different ways that you can get different yarns from the same kind of blend. Lots and lots of fantastic techniques. I'm going to show you actually later on in the show and share. There's the show and tell. There's some beautiful yarn that was made using some of the processes from Diana's first class as well. So all of these things are going on, so many things. And actually tomorrow we are filming with Rachel Smith. Tomorrow will be the first day of filming with Rachel. And I'm really, really excited to bring her classes to you guys soon as well. Those are all spinning classes. We have a lot of spinning classes. There's a lot of spinners in the mix. So right now, I wanted to remind you guys that actually what we're doing right now is a Tapestry study group. And so Vicky, you guys can see, is on the chat here. Vicky is one of our school moderators in the community, and she has also been really deep diving into Tapestry this past year, focusing a ton on experimenting with different sets, different yarns, different kinds of looms, making her own looms, and then also starting to weave tapestry with her own hand spun, and learning about what kind of characteristics you need in order to spin yarn that would be suitable for tapestry, all of that kind of stuff. And so together with our tapestry weaving instructor, Jana, the two of them, Vicky and Jana, are sort of hosting a study group right now, the Tapestry study group, and helping people sort of work through tapestry if this is their first time using a tapestry loom, first time trying any of these kinds of skills and techniques. So the premise of the study group is actually quite simple. It's to start with a very small loom. Like this one I have in the photo is the Everly mini loom, just a small loom, 5 inches wide. And you can just warp that up super quickly and then start playing with the different kinds of weft yarns. So the ones I have in the photo here, these are all Gist Array. So it was a wool yarn that they designed specifically for tapestry. It was meant to be kind of on the firm side. And you could use multiple strands at a time in order to make the weight of weft yarn that you want. So I'm going to show you some examples because people have been using the array in all sorts of different ways, which is actually fantastic. So that is what has been going on. You guys can go check out the group discussion that's happening as well. Lots of people sharing their notes about what they've been doing and learning. Now, I want to share with you this amazing thing. So there is a post. Vicky's been doing a ton of posting, and you can go into the Tapestry study group conversations and the discussions, and she's been posting things about comparisons of different kinds of warp yarn for tapestry. She's sort of experimented with 4 different warp yarns from different manufacturers, seeing which one works best. And then she's also done a whole post, massive, very detailed post on how to make a copper pipe loom. Now, in Jana's original tapestry course, she had some information about how to make a PVC loom. So PVC pipes, you kind of fit them together and then you make yourself a frame loom. And so Vicky went and she made herself one that is a copper pipe loom. It's fantastic, beautiful. And she goes through all the details. You can see how great this is. She's put tape, this is painter's tape, along the top and the bottom here, and she's marked it off with like inch marks and 1/4 inch marks and all this kind of stuff, so that way she has some reference point for when she's warping this loom, and all of this kind of stuff is fantastic. And she said she even listed out exactly how much everything cost. This is all Canadian dollars. But she listed out how much everything cost. And so without all of the extra bits and pieces that she was going to add to it, like glue and things like that you need, it was $33 Canadian. And I think that with the extras, it ended up being about $53 Canadian. So very, 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 very affordable, like relative to buying a tapestry loom sort of from a manufacturer and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Going to the hardware store immediately to pick up all of these things to make yourself a loom. It's absolutely fantastic. So you can follow Vicky's post here for all of the instructions for how to make this. Now, let's see this one here. I have this post here because I like this photo so much, so I just wanted to show you guys. This is from Kelly M. in the Tapestry study group. She has been doing a bunch of weaving. I'll show you her project in a minute as well. But she's been making these little butterflies. So we've been using the Gist Array held together, multiple strands, in order to weave as weft yarn. And so in order to create a gradient, she's done things like here is the yellow. And I believe she's used 1 strand of yellow, 1 strand of yellow, 2 strands of white. This is 3 strands of white. This is 3 strands of yellow. This is, I think, 2 strands of yellow, 2 strands of ginger. I'm not quite sure. I have to look more closely. I think it's actually 4 strands. So it must be 100% yellow, half white. This is half yellow, half ginger color. And then this is kind of like that gingery kind of color. And so making these gradients in the butterflies is something that you can do while you're doing other things like watching TV. It's not super onerous. You don't have to concentrate too much. I actually was making the yarn butterflies myself while I was in that Zoom Tapestry study group meeting yesterday. And so that meeting, if you guys missed it, I know Pearl said that you just missed the meeting yesterday. We will put the recording up probably very soon. I should have it in my email and we should just be able to put that up relatively quickly. And so that one was a great meeting because people were showing and sharing the things that they've made and all of the different sets and things like that. So, and they're further along than some of the photos that I'm going to show you here. So yeah, you can follow Kelly's notes here as well about things that she's been working on. So the first week of the study group, the task was to go through meet and separate. And so these are the meet and separate coasters or the samplers. Vicky made these ones and they're made with, I think, different numbers of strands. Is that right? Of array. And just doing a lot of experimentation with that. This technique is so cool, but it's like the fundamental for being able to blend colors. I think they call it hatching as well. And so you can see if you squint your eyes at these photos, you can see the colors that are being blended in the middle, in between the two. These ones are very, very high contrast because they're complementary colors. You've got red and green, you've got purple and yellow, so you're blending complementary colors. But yeah, this was the first project. This is Pharaoh yarn, Vicky's saying. So here is some of the initial progress that people have been making in the study group. So Tanya was doing this one on a frame loom with one strand of array. And so, yeah, you can see everybody's got a little bit of this cardboard at the bottom as a separator. We're doing twining at the bottom of each one of these projects. And she's weaving with just one strand of array. And this one is Ellen using the Murex saffron loom. It's a nice handheld loom that I believe you can add extra tension to. There's a screw in the back here, so you can sort of screw it up and then add tension to your warp. And so she has been weaving that with a little netting needle here as well. And if you guys watch the replay of the Zoom meeting, then you'll see that actually Ellen has finished this entire coaster. And then this last column here, this one is Rachel S. She has her tapestry warp on this frame loom, and she set it up at 12 ends per inch. I guess is doubled. I think she said it was 6 ends per inch if it was singled. And so she's just using some leftover yarn that she found in her stash as well. So one of the things that came out of that meeting yesterday was that I was thinking we should actually make a set chart with the number of strands of just array that people have been using, and then comparing that with what the set was. For my own weaving, I think I'm using 4 strands of array, and I have it set at 8 ends per inch, and I'm finding it's like right on the threshold of being too much weft yarn. I should have probably used 3 strands at a time rather than 4 strands, but this is where a lot of learning with this new yarn is coming in, and we're kind of having this opportunity to test what everybody is doing and see how all of these things are turning out. So this has been very cool. Yes, started a thread for set this morning. Yes, and the thickness of the warp matters too. So maybe we should put that information in as well. Here is Kelly's first project. This is the meet and separate sampler. You can see beautiful job she's done with these colors. I love these colors. But you can see she made a PVC pipe loom here. And so this is the same idea as Vicky's loom, the copper pipe loom. There's these spots on the side. Hopefully you guys can see here. Those little sections on the side allow you to expand the PVC pipe loom a little bit to add tension to your warp. I think it's totally genius. And so also what you might notice here is that Kelly is using a pickup stick. She's using a shuttle. It's actually a stick shuttle, but she's using that as a pickup stick, and she just kind of like flip up that stick, and then it will open a shed for you one way. And then what she's done is she's created string heddles for all of the other warp threads. So then she can pull up that bar with all of the string handles and then create the opposite shed. So with this very, very simple PVC pipe loom, she's created a very functional, very efficient loom setup for weaving tapestry. So very, very cool. Even though she did say tapestry weaving progresses much slower than I had anticipated. And then she said she's using the Ashford tapestry warp, 8 ends per inch. That's what I've been doing as well, but she's using 3 strands of array and I have been using 4. Hers looks fantastic. This looks really, really lovely. And then this is something that came up during the Zoom call. So if you go back and you watch that Zoom call, Jana answers this question, but she was talking about like the tendency to draw in on the right selvage a little bit more tightly and the left selvage looking a little bit better. And I believe that what Jana was saying is that if you're right-handed, typically your left selvages look really, really good. And if you're left-handed, your right selvages look really good. And it's just about being able to manage and sort of finesse or fuss with those selvage, those corners and turnaround points and all that kind of stuff in order to make those edges really, really nice. And I think it just takes practice and then it becomes second nature the more you do it. So that is, she said this is the opposite of what I found when I'm weaving on my floor loom. So that one is Kelly's. And then I wanted to share with you guys Vicky's. So this is Vicky's first sampler. You can see here, this is the Meet and Separate sampler as well, the little coaster. And then this is on the pipe loom that Vicky has made. And so she's starting to work these shapes. I believe this is all hand spun. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful looking hand spun. But look at her edges are so sharp. Like they're so straight. It's really, really beautiful. And so again, this is, she says, I took the painter's tape, made markings every 1/4 inch, and then warped as close as I could to about 8 ends per inch. Yeah, it's looking fantastic. And then this is her first sample. This one was set at 6 ends per inch. 6 EPI and then 4 strands of array. So probably that combination is good. 6 EPI and 4 strands, or 8 EPI and 3 strands. Seems to be like the right mix. Amanda is saying, is it opposite because you're weaving it from the back, so when you turn it to the correct side, it looks like it's the other selvage? That's really possible. I guess it depends on I think that Kelly was weaving it in this way and then turning it around to the other side. I think that this is the side that looks really nice. Yeah, we should ask Kelly. Ask Kelly in the in the community forums. Fantastic. So yeah. There is everybody's tapestry work so far, and I'm really, really looking forward to sharing more about what you guys have done in the next meeting because, yeah, I think that once everyone has the meet and separate down and understands how that all works, then moving on to things like shapes and then blending colors within the shapes, it's going to be super, super fun. Now, we always talk about this, and I wanted to make sure that we touch base on this as well, and this is about the community events that happen. And so, like we said before, there was the Tapestry Study Group Zoom meeting that happened yesterday. There is another one that's going to happen on June 17th, and that is kind of like the finale. It's the end progress, show everybody what you've made, that sort of meeting. And so I hope that you guys will attend that if you've been interested in the tapestry side of things. The study group is going to have content coming out every week. They come out on Thursdays, and that's going to come out until June 9th. And then all of these pink markers, these are all times where everyone is getting together for various meetups. So either spinning and weaving meetup or knitting meetup or all that kind of stuff. We label them spinning and weaving or knit night or knitting meetup, but you can really bring whatever project you want. Bring your tapestry, bring whatever you feel like. Robin's meetups are still Mondays in the morning. And then Charlotte right now is Thursdays. Vicky has ones on Saturdays, and she also does ones on Wednesdays. So just check the time in your calendar. When you go to the community calendar, it will actually show you the time in your time zone. So you don't need to make any sort of time zone changes in your brain. So that is a nice thing to do. We also do a new member welcome and orientation meeting. So between me and Vicky, we both come on the second Monday of every month, and we do this Zoom meeting that's very, very casual. And so I noticed, like, in the chat, I think somebody said that you just signed up yesterday. So if you want to come to that first meeting, that is great too. It just gives us an opportunity to meet you, to welcome you, to show you a little bit around the school, help you find your way, all of that kind of stuff. And then we also do the Taking Back Friday live stream. That's not really a school thing. It's kind of a Sweet Georgia thing. It's kind of just like a live stream where we show stuff that's been happening around Sweet Georgia, and that happens on the second Friday of every month at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and I do that one. Now, Marjoram has just been saying I need to sneak away from work to make a meetup. And so this is the very, very important thing that I want to mention to you guys. I would like for you to go to this link here, schoolofsweetgeorgia.com/meetup-poll, and then that will take you to the community forums where Vicky has created a poll asking what times are best for you for meetups, because all of these meeting times are going to change. They are going to be shifting as people are starting to go back to the office, people are starting to go back to work. We know that we need to reassess all of the times when we schedule these meetups, and so these times will change, probably starting in the summertime. But in order for us to make changes, we need to know what times work best for you. So really, if you could go to this link and complete the poll and let us know what times are best for you, and then we'll take that into consideration as we schedule the new meetups. Yes, fantastic. So speaking of the forums, there are lots and lots and lots of conversations happening in there, and a lot of help is being given and shared and all sorts of things like that. And I just wanted to flag this one for you guys because it was a big, long conversation between, I believe it was Willow, who was weaving something, Fancy Twill, and then Laura Fry had sort of chimed in with some help and guidance about her thought process when she had made a threading error. And so I boiled it down to one sentence where Laura said, I missed an 8-thread straight progression about 160 ends from the left-hand side. She typically threads from the right hand to the left hand. And so she got to this point where there's quite a chunk of heddles on the left-hand side of her mistake, and there's quite a chunk of heddles on the right side. And so the question is, what do I do? Do I take it all out and rethread the last 170 ends, or should I do something else in order to make this work, to add 8 ends here? How do I do this? And so this one, I don't think I can put the link in the chat, Gretchen, but we will link all of these when we put them up in the school as an archive for sure. But yeah, you can see here that Laura ended up making her own repair heddles. She made brand new heddles just with string. You can see them in the contrasting color here. And so she just made these heddles so that she could add 8 more warp ends. And so it was very interesting to hear the entire thought process about what should I do if I've made this mistake? How do I amend this mistake? And so I just encourage you guys to go check that out. There's lots and lots of conversations, but some of these are really intense conversations. So I encourage you guys to go check that out. Now, I wanted to share with you guys the projects that have been posted in the community forums. And so a couple of these projects are actually from the lace knitting study group that just completed a couple of weeks ago. And so some people were knitting their very first lace shawls ever. Some people were designing their own lace shawls. And so this one is by Sarah. And Sarah said, this is my first triangular lace shawl. And so she used a pattern that was designed by Tabitha Hedrick called Codilla. And so you can see here at the top here, she's using her hand spun for this top section. And then this lace down here, this is a bamboo and merino blend that she has from her stash. And then she had it colored so that it would look kind of like this pansy. So this is really, really lovely. And then she talked, this is it on the needles, actually. So that's what the lace looked like on the needles. And she worked through that. And she discovered through this entire process how important blocking is and how blocking can change the shape of your garment, how it can completely, like from this lace to this lace down here, it looks completely different. I had to stop and process and make sure that this was actually the same shawl. But you can just see how taking something like this and then blocking it makes it completely open up. And then look, yeah, it just looks completely different just through blocking. And so she says she's very inspired, very pleased, and she's going to start designing her own. So you can find her her thread about that. It's here, Triangular Shawlette. And then you can also find Sarah on Instagram. I put her Instagram channel, Instagram feed right there as well. Very, very pretty. Now this one is knit by Kathleen. And so Kathleen, I think she said that this was also her first. No, this is not her first, but she knit this shawl first. This had garter in it and a little bit of this this lace. I think it's like horseshoe lace, I think is what it was called. So this is one of the shawls that she'd done first. And then this was the other shawl. This is the Cavatina shawl. This is the one that Tabitha designed for the triangular lace shawl class. And so she used this one. She used one skein of wool local, which is a blend of BFL and Massam. So 100% wool. It just looks so beautiful and crisp. And you can see how the blocking has like just opened up all of those eyelets and just made it into this crisp and light but woolly piece of fabric. Really, really beautiful. And then she says, I feel like I might explore the idea of designing my own shawl sometime in the future. It doesn't seem like it would be totally unthinkable anymore. So I love that. Just, you know, feeling like everybody has a little bit more confidence. Now that they know how this all works, why not give it a try? Why not? So I wanted to share with you guys this one. This is Robin. So Robin is another one of our moderators in the community. And I know she's at work today, so she's not on the chat here today, but she did design her own project as part of that lace knitting study group. And so she had knit all the swatches and the samples that we took photographs of and posted in the study group. But this one is actually something that she designed. So she says, I made 2 shawls and layered them one over the other to make a bolero or a shrug for myself for the summer. And so she used the sea silk lace, and she says, I couldn't be happier with what I drew is what I am wearing. So that whole idea of coming to design your own lace project from scratch is not unfathomable. Like, you can totally do it. And so oh, Robin, you are here. Fantastic. And so you can go and check out this thread here, week 8, putting it all together. And she did put together her final design for this project. It's fantastic. So congratulations, everybody, for everything that you've done in the knitting study group. It was fantastic. Now I have a couple more projects I wanted to share with you, things that I've seen. So this one is from Sandra. Sandra recently got an e-spinner. So she got the Ashford e-spinner 3, and there was a couple of posts in this thread here. So you can go to the Spinning with E-Spinners thread. And so she was asking a number of questions about, you know, tension and feeling kind of like she had a bit of a firm grip on the yarn and trying to learn to work with this e-spinner. And so she had some back and forth conversation with Debbie about that e-spinner. And finally, she was able to spin this entire bobbin of yarn. So she says, I just took this very full bobbin off my e-spinner, and the first thing I thought was, I did it, it's done. She said, I couldn't think of anybody else who would care. And so she posted that in the forums. But this is her very, very, very first spin on the Ashford e-spinner 3. And so proud of her, so excited. I wanted to post a photo. This is what the fiber, the colorway, this is what it looks like. And then obviously, like, you can see the darker sections are on the outside of the bobbin in the plying. But she said, the first braid I spun straight from the roving Second braid, I turned into Rolex, grouping all the similar colors, hoping for a gradient alternating between barber pole and solid color. It will be very interesting to see how all of this knits up. So I'm curious, Sandra, what you were thinking about making with this yarn. It would be so cool to see how it finally knits up and see if the things that you wanted in blending those colors and working out the striping and all of that kind of stuff, how that turns out. But I'm just really excited for you. Just congratulations on spinning your first spin on your new e-spinner. It's awesome. And because I think that it's like a whole other animal. It's not a spinning wheel. It's not a spindle. There is some different kinds of coordination that needs to happen with that e-spinner. Yeah, I think that it's great to feel like you are in control of this machine and that you can spin your own yarn on it and feel confident about what you've created. So congratulations on that, Sandra. And then we have here, this is by Heather. And so there's two slides here. One of them, this is the Rolex that she has created with her hand carders. So she took the color and fiber play kit, the one that we designed for Diana's class, and she sort of layered the colors, she said, in wisp of each color, alternating between two colors, like pink and orange, orange and yellow, yellow and green, green and blue, blue and purple. And so she layered all these colors using her hand carder and blended them together to make these Rolex. And so she said the rolled Rolex were made with the hand carders, these ones here. And then the straight Rolex were made using the blending board. And the straight Rolex, she had a previous photo which was just straight color, but then this photo here has a little bit of black added to the mix as well. So it's beautiful. Like, they look a little bit shaded. They look really like rich. They have this depth of color. There's just stuff happening in all of these Rolex. They're so pretty just to look at. And then she took all of this and then she spun it into this beautiful yarn here. So it looks like it is a 3-ply yarn. It is beautiful, slinky, drapey. She said it's dreamy. It's about 375 meters of DK weight yarn. And then she's giving it away to a friend. So really, really beautiful photos here. And just see how shiny it is. I don't think I saw what kind of fiber it actually was. Yeah. So pretty. Yeah, I like looking at these photos. Just go back and forth between these two. So there's a lot of stuff that between Diana's class and Kim McKenna's class, there's a lot of information around, working with blending boards, either for blending colors, but then also dizzing off of blending boards, dizzing off of hand cards, making really smooth fiber blends of color, making Rolex. There's so many beautiful things that you can do with color and all of this blending. And just the kinds of yarns that you can make. I'm really, really loving this 3-ply yarn. I don't know if it's not really a trend. It's just what I see. But, like very often when we first learn how to spin, we're making a 2-ply yarn. We spin 2 bobbins, ply them together. Everything's great. I made tons of 2-ply yarn, but 3-ply yarn has this beautiful quality of being round, and there's more color mixing and blending happening between those 3 plies of yarn. So I feel like I would love to spend more time spinning 3-ply yarn, getting that squishy round yarn. Really, really lovely. Sorry, I'm sitting on this slide for so long because it's just so pretty. So that is it for all of the show and tell for this month. Really, really looking forward to seeing what you guys make. It's always so interesting to see what you have found inspiring, what you've pulled out of the classes, what you've learned, what you've sort of what rabbit holes you've decided to go down, all of this kind of stuff. So it's been really, really fun to watch. I have here, this is every month we do a giveaway. And all you need to do is go to this link, schoolofsweetgeorgia.com/live 2022 May. And what I do is I have like a little survey there, and it just helps me figure out what about these live office hours is useful to you, what I should do to change in the future, what else I could improve on, what else we could improve on in the school, all of that kind of stuff. All of that would be really, really helpful to me. We keep this giveaway open until midnight tonight, and then we do a draw. And so the draw will be for a $25 gift certificate that you can use in the Sweet Georgia shop. You could actually apply it, if you would like, to the Advent kit, which we have just released like 2 days ago. And this year is the very first year ever that we are doing a fiber Advent as well. So there will be different colored fiber, there will be different kinds of fiber, there will all be all sorts of things in there. We're also doing a fingering weight version, a DK weight version. You can choose to make the knitting pattern, you can choose to make the crochet pattern. There's so many options. There's maybe too many options, but you know, like we like having options, and we like all of these different crafts. And so we wanted to give everybody the option to do any one of these crafts with an Advent. Very, very excited for all of that. So you guys, please do go to the link and fill in the survey, and we'll do a draw for the giveaway as well. And that's that. That is it for today. So there's the link again for the giveaway. This is all of our information. You can find us at SweetGeorgiaYarns.com, schoolofsweetgeorgia.com. We're on Instagram. And of course, that's all of our email addresses there as well. And so just seeing what you guys are saying here. So many talented SOS members. Yes, Pearl, thank you so much. So many gorgeous spins. And there is so much going on in the school. Fantastic. Excited for all the courses, have my work tapestry loom set up on my desk now, and can't wait for double weave. Yeah, I'm excited for double weave too. This is going to be super fun. Yeah, can't wait for that. Fantastic. So thank you guys for being here today. It is always wonderful every month to be able to sit down and have this conversation with you guys, and to share with you the things that have been going on in and around the school, things that we've been filming, all of that kind of stuff. Just lots of good things happening. You guys should let me know if you can hear that construction in the background. They are building a brand new warehouse building right there across from us, and I can hear it constantly, and I wonder if you guys can hear it too. But it's going to be going on for like the next year and a half, that construction. So I'll be really interested to see how that all works out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you guys in the next one or inside the community forums. All right, bye for now, everybody.